What if the key to reversing arterial plaque isn't another pill, but a precisely designed meal? I'm Dr. Natalie Brooks, and after years of working with cardiovascular patients, I've seen firsthand what plaque really does inside the arteries. Today, I'm going to show you how specific foods can activate the biological pathways that support nitric oxide production, cholesterol removal, and arterial repair. Stay with me, because understanding the mechanism changes everything. I'm about to share something that challenges almost everything you've been told about heart disease. Not how to manage plaque, not how to slow it down. I'm talking about actively shrinking it, reversing it, changing what's happening inside your arteries at the cellular level. And I'm not speaking in motivational slogans or internet myths. I'm speaking from years inside operating rooms, from holding hardened arteries in my hands, from cutting through vessels that were once flexible and alive but had turned into something closer to chalk. I'm Dr. Daniel Hartwell, cardiovascular surgeon for more than 2 decades. I've opened chests at 2 a.m. while families waited outside praying for a miracle. I've grafted bypasses onto arteries that looked like bone instead of living tissue. I've seen plaque rupture without warning in people who felt fine the day before. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Most of what the public believes about clearing arteries is dangerously oversimplified. Your bloodstream is not a kitchen sink. Your arteries are not greasy pipes. There is no magic drink that scrubs them clean. Lemon water does not dissolve plaque. Vinegar does not melt blockages. Garlic capsules do not vacuum cholesterol from your vessel walls. The biology is far more complex and far more fascinating than that. If you truly want to reverse arterial disease, you must understand what plaque actually is. Inside every artery are layers. The innermost lining is a thin sheet of endothelial cells. When these cells are healthy, they are smooth, anti-inflammatory, and protective. They release nitric oxide, a tiny gaseous molecule that keeps vessels relaxed and prevents blood cells from sticking. It's like a built-in shield. But when that lining becomes irritated from high blood pressure, smoking, elevated blood sugar, chronic stress, systemic inflammation, it stops functioning properly. It produces less nitric oxide. It becomes sticky. Microscopic gaps appear. That's when LDL particles slip beneath the surface. LDL by itself is not evil. It's a transport vehicle. The real problem begins when LDL becomes damaged through oxidation. Free radicals alter its structure. The particle changes shape. Your immune system no longer recognizes it as friendly. So immune cells arrive. Monocytes squeeze through the vessel wall and transform into macrophages. Their job is to clean up debris. They engulf oxidized LDL in an attempt to protect you. But here's where things go wrong. They ingest more than they can handle. They swell with fat. Under a microscope, they look foamy. These are foam cells, the earliest visible sign of atherosclerosis. Clusters of foam cells create fatty streaks. Over time, more immune cells arrive. Inflammation continues. Cells die and spill their contents. Cholesterol crystals accumulate. A fibrous cap forms over this inflamed core. This is plaque. And the danger isn't simply narrowing. The real threat is rupture. When that thin cap tears, blood clots form instantly. In the heart, that's a heart attack. In the brain, a stroke. In the legs, tissue death. And here's what most people don't realize. The plaques that rupture are not always the biggest ones. Sometimes a 40% blockage is far more dangerous than a 70% blockage because it's unstable and inflamed. So if we want to truly reverse disease, we don't just open arteries. We change the biology inside them. Your body already has a mechanism for this. It's called reverse cholesterol transport. HDL, often labeled good cholesterol, is not good because it's a different cholesterol molecule. It's good because it functions like a cleanup crew. It removes excess cholesterol from tissues and carries it back to the liver for disposal. On the surface of foam cells is a transporter protein known as ABCA1. When activated, it pumps cholesterol out of the cell onto HDL particles. The foam cell shrinks. The plaque regresses. But in many people, this system is sluggish. HDL may be present on a lab report, but it isn't functioning optimally. ABCA1 isn't sufficiently stimulated. Cholesterol remains trapped. Here's the remarkable part. Certain foods can directly enhance this pathway. Let's build the meal. First, the foundation. Nitrate-rich greens. Arugula is ideal. It's exceptionally high in natural nitrates. When you consume nitrates, your body converts them through a fascinating pathway involving beneficial bacteria in your mouth. Those bacteria reduce nitrate into nitrite. After swallowing, nitrite converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide restores endothelial function. It relaxes vessels. It improves blood flow. It reduces adhesion of inflammatory cells. Within hours of consuming high nitrate greens, measurable improvements in vascular function can occur. But there's a catch. If you regularly use antiseptic mouthwash, you destroy the bacteria that perform this conversion. Without them, nitric oxide production drops significantly. So if you want this pathway to work, you must stop killing the very microbes that help your arteries. 2 to 3 generous cups of raw arugula daily provide an effective nitrate dose. Chew thoroughly. Let saliva mix. Give the process time. Next, high polyphenol extra virgin olive oil. Not all olive oil is equal. The therapeutic benefit comes from phenolic compounds, particularly one responsible for that peppery throat-catching sensation in high-quality oil. That sensation signals potent anti-inflammatory molecules. These compounds have been shown in laboratory studies to increase expression of cholesterol transport proteins like ABCA1. They calm inflammatory signaling inside vessel walls. They reduce oxidative stress. In large Mediterranean dietary trials, participants consuming generous amounts of authentic extra virgin olive oil experienced significantly fewer cardiovascular events compared to low-fat control groups. 4 tablespoons daily may sound like a lot, but this is not about calories. It's about signaling molecules. Drizzle it generously over your arugula. Third component, vitamin K2. As plaque matures, calcium accumulates. Your arteries stiffen. We measure this with coronary calcium scans. Higher scores correlate strongly with risk. Vitamin K2 activates proteins that direct calcium into bones instead of arteries. Without sufficient K2, those protective proteins remain inactive. Calcification progresses. Fermented foods, especially natto, are extremely rich in K2. Aged cheeses also contain meaningful amounts. If food sources are unrealistic for you, a properly dosed MK7 supplement can support this pathway. Fourth, pomegranate seeds. Whole pomegranate arils contain unique polyphenols that protect LDL particles from oxidation. By reducing oxidative modification, you reduce the trigger that initiates immune activation and foam cell formation. Pomegranate compounds also enhance antioxidant activity associated with HDL. 1 cup daily added to your salad provides a powerful antioxidant matrix in its natural form. Now assemble it. A large bowl of fresh arugula, 1 cup of pomegranate arils, 4 tablespoons of robust, peppery, extra virgin olive oil, a serving of natto or aged cheese, or take K2 alongside the meal. Simple, whole foods, but strategically chosen. Eat this once daily, consistently. Not occasionally, not when convenient. Consistency drives biological change. And understand, this is not permission to ignore everything else. Ultra-processed food, excessive sugar, refined carbohydrates, and industrial seed oils perpetuate inflammation and oxidative stress. This meal works best within a broader pattern of whole, minimally processed nutrition. Measure your progress. Consider a baseline coronary calcium scan if appropriate for your risk profile. Repeat after 18 to 24 months. Track advanced lipid markers, not just total cholesterol. Monitor inflammatory markers. Why don't more physicians emphasize this? Medical training heavily prioritizes pharmacology and procedures. Nutrition science often receives minimal attention. Most doctors are not malicious. They are simply operating within the system they were taught. Medication has its place. Statins lower LDL and can reduce risk, but they do not directly stimulate reverse cholesterol transport in the way certain dietary compounds can. Combining medical therapy with targeted nutrition often yields the best outcomes. I am sharing this because I have seen too many preventable surgeries, too many emergencies that could have been delayed, perhaps avoided, if upstream biology had been addressed earlier. If this information resonates with you, engage with it. Share it with someone who needs it. Have a conversation with your physician armed with knowledge, not fear. Your arteries are living tissue. They respond to signals. They remodel. They adapt. You cannot flush plaque away overnight, but you can influence nitric oxide production. You can enhance cholesterol efflux. You can reduce oxidative stress. You can guide calcium where it belongs. One meal will not transform your arteries tomorrow morning, but repeated daily signals reshape biology over months and years. That is how true reversal begins. Not with a miracle drink, but with understanding, precision, and disciplined consistency. Take control of the mechanisms. Your heart is listening. Your arteries are living tissue. They respond to signals every single day. If you consistently support the right pathways, your body can begin to repair from within. That's the power of informed action. I'm Dr. Natalie Brooks. If you found this helpful, subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and I'll see you in the next video.